Hello and welcome to another edition of Around the Ice on Fantasy in Frames, a hockey podcast. I'm your host, JT, along with me, Aaron Tomachich. Toast can't be with us tonight. He's got a Christmas party, family Christmas party, so he's out for tonight, but we're going to try to hold things down here. And me and Aaron just talking before the show, we are way behind on Christmas present wrapping. So as soon as the show gets over, I'll be jumping on Shoot the Gap after this show, but once that is done, then I'm going to be hammering out the Christmas presents. Me and the girlfriend went to the Colts game last night at home, Monday night game. Looked like for a minute they were going to try to stay in that game, but nope. So that was a long night. We didn't get home till way late. Driving home from Indy, we live a couple hours from there. So it's been a struggle today a little bit, trying to pull it together here last second as Christmas right around the corner here for us. Aaron, how you doing?
Great. I mean, yeah, we like you said before we went on, you were talking about that, and I'm just thinking, like, man, with all the pods you're doing or all the ones you got to go to, you gotta host like a last minute wrapping presents, like like tutorial, because you got all that stuff you got to do. Yeah, the 23rd or Festivus, I guess. Those that celebrate Festivus, happy Festivus Day. And then, yeah, we're on the cusp of another Christmas. So Merry Christmas to all the listeners. And hopefully we all hit a bet tonight. Can all use the extra cash because not only do you have to wrap all those presents, but now your bank account has to recover. So hopefully by, end of January, we're all financially stable again, and we can we can get through those first couple months of the year here when we pay off all this debt. So, but no, good time, favorite time of year for sure.
Well, you said it. Let's get into it. Let's talk some betting.
Where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
Quite a few games on the list tonight for a Tuesday night as we break it down. Let's get into some of our favorite bets, either bets we've already got in progress or ones we want for later tonight. Aaron, start us off. What do you like here later on tonight? We got a bunch of games already started, but we got quite a big late night slate of 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock Eastern time starts. So got plenty to choose from here in the late hour tonight.
Yeah, and it's nice. I know we changed our time, like you had mentioned. Got some other pods that are going out on Fantasy and Frames, a awesome resource for all your fantasy needs. So, with that, we've got a little bit of a benefit here. So some of the 8 o'clock games we can talk about, because I think the 8 o'clock games, this of course all Central Time. We're 7 o'clock right now, but um, I can't wait. My non-Detroit, non-Chicago favorite matchup is the Battle of Alberta, Edmonton, Calgary. So kick it off with that one. So what we've kind of done before, we throw together a game line parlay. I've got three of the 8 p.m. Central game, 9 p.m. Eastern time games. So what I've got on that one, they always. Okay, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. Maybe jinxing it, but that Battle of Alberta seems to always hit the over. So for me, that was a no-brainer. Anytime I see that game on the list, I slot it in. Tonight I'm going to throw it in the parlay. So again, all those 8 o'clock games, got that one going over. I've got San Jose and Vegas, a West Coast shootout. I'm going over there, just hoping for those goals. The guys, the NHL, I like how the NHL does it. They get Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the 26th off. So these guys tend to go all at it. I mean, the ones that are still healthy. And again, before the show, you and I were kind of griping about our IR situation. We got a pretty long list of guys on the injury reserve. So the guys that are playing or the guys that are out there skating, 20, 25 minutes a game, they know the break's coming. Kind of gives you a little bit more. So that's why I'm kind of big on the over. So those are the two overs: San Jose at Vegas, Calgary at Edmonton, Battle of Alberta. And then I'm going Colorado. There's not a hotter team out there, dude. 2 regulation losses so far, and we're almost through December, and they've been beaten twice. They're just a machine. It's like there's Colorado, and then there's the rest of the league. Like they're playing above the NHL Plus league is where they belong. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that goal and a half on the game tonight, and have them beating Utah. So you combine all those, and it's not bad. It's a plus 690, which is a pretty fair little game line parlay. So I like those. Lots of goals and another Colorado win. I'm feeling pretty good about that heading into to Christmas. So let's kick it off right and start getting that DraftKings account back up there.
Aaron, I was actually looking through some of the earlier bets we talked about preseason, and I was going through some of my betting apps and looking at like some of my open bets to see kind of where I was at. I forgot I put a decent little biddy on Avalanche President's Trophy.
Oh,
Feeling good about it at the moment. Feeling good about it at the moment. Just gotta keep it rolling. Gotta keep it rolling. I was like, I forgot that I jumped on there because I saw the odds and I was like, they were like plus 1,000, which I was like, man, I was like, those seem kind of long for them. I jumped on them, so I'm pretty happy about that. So at least hopefully here in the new year, got some more money coming. But we have been. Toast was on a tear for a little while, about a week and a half ago. He was sending out texts. He's like, all right, guys, 3 for 3 this week, 4 for 4 this week. Let's keep it rolling. One of his bets that he's been on lately, and this one has hit a majority of the time. Just want to let listeners know. I was trying to look up the odds right now. I'm a little behind on things. I apologize. But we've been jumping on 2 points for 2 points for Nathan McKinnon and 2 points for McDavid. So going at just pure points, we've a couple times jumped on 2+ points, just 2-pick parlay. Both those guys 2 points. It hit for me early in the week last week, big one. I went heavy on it. I really like the matchups. They both crushed it. That is one to look at possibly tonight. Like you said, would you like that over? The Avalanche are playing, and then the way you like that over and the end game, I'm thinking about maybe going back to the well and jumping on that again. So I was actually getting ready. I was pulling that up right now. McKinnon at 2+ points is minus 130. They're starting. The books are finally getting together on McDavid. You were actually getting plus money at 2+ points at one point last week, and then they've got Wise, and they're like, no, we're not doing that anymore. I think everybody was starting to get on that one because all of a sudden it was all negative money. After early in the week, we were getting like, we were getting like plus 120. I was like, this is insanity. So he's minus 125 tonight. Like I said, they've kind of got back together. If you put those guys together, just 2+ points, it's plus 218 right now on DraftKings. Plus 218 for both those guys to get points. I think I'm jumping on that. Like I said, I've been writing that one pretty heavy whenever I like the matchups and they're playing the same night. So that's my pick of the night. Aaron, what else you got? I think you got a player point parlay you want to get out there to everybody as well.
Yeah. And that's a great call on the McKinnon McDavid. I think McDavid just overtook McKinnon for the lead on points by maybe a point. So these guys are just going. It's like a heavyweight fight. They're exchanging blows here, the knockout punches against one another, not head to head. They're just doing it against the rest of the league. So I love it. I love the +2. You got MacDog at home, and you got McDavid at home. So again, that Christmas buzz, that maybe a little extra speed on those two. Not that they need it; they could go at about 80% and still dominate this league. So, but yeah, the non player point parlay of the day, the non McKinnon and McDavid. I like Marty Necas. Mostly because he plays with McKinnon. I mean, again, he's talked about that guy to death, but the fact that he's on a line with McKinnon, it could be you or I, JT, on that line, and I probably take one of us at a +1 point at the NHL level. So that's almost as good as your
I love what you're
+2.
doing there too. That's something that we talked about, and Toast brought up too. Is we start seeing those lines get hot.
Yeah.
Put multiple guys on the same line for a point, jump in, do a Natchez on a point, do a McKinnon on a point. Now, if you want to get a little bit better odds, you can either pick a goal or you can pick an assist as opposed to a point. But I like when you can get a hot line like that. Natchez has looked great next to McKinnon. And you were all over that call early in the year. Like, hey, just go out and get him. If you can get him, he's going to tear it up with them. He's been on fire. So I like that for him with a point. Like I said, I'll let you finish out your rest of your bet here with all these points, but I just wanted to bring that back in. Sometimes don't make it too complicated. If guys are playing real well and a team's playing well and a line's playing real well, just grab a couple of those same guys and put them together in a little parlay action.
Yeah, 100%. You could probably say that on that whole Colorado lineup because again, if you doesn't matter if McKinnon's playing against their top line, he's still getting points. They're still trying to shut him down. But your line two and line three, Landeskog, great year, off that horrible injury. It's like you could throw any one of those guys in there, but I do like the ones that are on the line with McKinnon or McKinnon and McCarr, because again, those two guys, we talked about that maybe 2 weeks ago about how much they're often paired together, even though it's two different positions. They tend to find themselves out on the ice, and again, it doesn't get any more talented than that duo. So yeah, we got Marty Natchez. He's getting a point. We got Travis Konechny. I like Konechny. We again pre-show we talked a little bit about the Hawks, about the Bedard injury. I looked real quick online. I think it's obvious that it was a separated shoulder, and it could have been already announced. I don't know. I flipped through Twitter real quick just before we went on, but um, they're just not the same team. Then Frankie Nazar eats a puck and he's out for 4 weeks. Got to be, it's 4 week injury. It tells us, 4 to 6 weeks to heal a fracture. So he's probably got a broken jaw, broken bone, maybe lost some teeth. So I like Konechny getting a point on that Hawks team. They're a little bit. Their forwards. I mean, the forwards are getting it done, but you lose those two guys, and that's a lot of your cycle time. So I think that Spencer Knight's going to see a lot of pucks. Konechny, just like that player a lot. So him a point. Edmonton, who's been on a tear, they've really turned their season around. They're looking like the Edmonton that makes it to the finals every year, or has so the last 2 years. Ryan Nugent Hopkins has been very hot there. So you got McDavid, and then you got the Nuge playing very well. So I like him at a point. And then for that San Jose game, I like Tyler Toffoli getting a point there too. Again, that veteran presence amongst all those kids. We're big fans of San Jose in this pod. We talk about them every week. We watch Celebrini just score goal after goal after goal. Spinoramas, assists. Toffoli again. He's the Marty Natchez of that team. He just works hard. Not nearly as fast as Natchez, but he is the beneficiary of playing with that really, really high octane offense. So you combine, that's four players though. That's four players. Normally I don't like going beyond three. And really, with my luck I've had this year, it doesn't matter if I did a 3-leg or a 4-leg. It's always the last leg that doesn't hit. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm putting that into existence so that maybe it won't happen. But you got Natchez at a point, Konechny at a point, Ryan Nugent Hopkins at a point, Tyler Toffoli at a point. That's a plus 547. So little lower, but
Aaron, I'm
that's
the
okay.
king.
I
I'm the
think it's just
king
a
of
point.
3 or 4. I'm the king out of 3 or 4. Like
Yeah,
that's all my
yeah,
friends laugh. They're
yeah.
like, dude. They're like, dude. If 3 out of 4 counted, like JT, you'd be a millionaire, dude. He's like, they're like,
Yeah.
your 3 out of 4 is any team any person I've ever seen in my life. I did look at this. I just put that in that bet that you had. I added a Draisaitl point, kicks it up to
Oh,
plus 699. So if you
I
do
like
that,
that.
Aaron took Nugent Hopkins, Natchez, Konechny, Toffoli, all with a point. Then you throw Draisaitl in with a point, kicks it up to plus 699, which I like. I'm going to add that, and I'm going to tell you with Draisaitl in there, which is going to end up burning me. So, but I love it anyway. It's I like, me, JT Parlay, play of the day. I like to take
That's
the long
right.
odds whenever I can get them. All right, long shot goal scorer. This is Toast he's got created where he likes to find kind of some long shot guys that have been a little bit hot lately that are not big names and throws them in because if he gets 1 out of 10, he's in the plus money because these are usually pretty big odds. You've got one with Toast out on the show, so I appreciate you bringing one in for us. What is your long shot goal scorer play of the day?
And I'm glad you brought this up with Toast, because now he obviously he's not on the pod tonight with the Christmas he's got, but I want to. I'm going to drop a gauntlet. I'm going to drop a challenge. So what I do is I take everybody plus 350. So it's kind of the same logic. He gets a little into that heat index. Like, okay, like you said, this guy's got a lot of shots. He's missing the net. This guy's got good danger zone time. I know he looks at that. He really takes a deep analytical dive at that. And like you said, he hits. All you need is to hit one. And when we do these, we're betting like $1, $2, $3 at most. But with these great odds, you hit, like you said, JT, hit one of these bets and you're good. So he's definitely the brains behind it. What I do, is I take the games at the time slot I want to like I'll take a couple early games. In this case, I took all 8 o'clock games, but I put them into a randomizer and I don't go above plus 400. I don't go below 325, but I put the names in and then it spits out 3 names for me. So we're going to go random luck versus well thought out. And we're going to see who wins. So tonight, the randomizer gives us Ryan Donato of the Hawks. Love him. Bedsy's out. Nazar's out. Somebody's got to tuck one in. Bertuzzi's been playing very well. Tavo's been playing very well, but Donato, he had a great season last year. He's a little slower this year, but hey, I have no other analysis because I randomized it. We got Vasily Podkolzin, Russian. So shout out Toast. Let's see if one of your Ruskies can get it done. And then we got Colin Graff. Colin Graff, I looked at him. He's been playing very well. Again, one of those young guys in San Jose. Not the headline grab that Will Smith and Celebrini are, but he's come along. Actually, I was looking through something, a waiver recommendation on waiver wire pickups, and his name was on there. So, again, put zero research in it, put them in a randomizer. These guys score all tonight. We're talking plus $11,492. I put down $1.50. That's roughly about $180. So $180.
Boom.
If these knuckleheads
the
can
randomizer is great. This randomizer,
we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
We're gonna see. We're gonna give it a shot. He says we're gonna give it a shot. So just a little, just to let the people know, like you said, that's the randomizer. That's the big long shot. Like Aaron says, throw $1 on it. If you hit, you're gonna be happy. We actually got a comment here from Jorge. He says, preseason darling of Aaron, San Jose Sharks. Yes, they are. Let's hope Graff comes through in tonight. And going from there, it is time for us to take a look and go around the ice.
Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
So let's get our early bets in there. If anybody's got anyone, feel free to throw one in the comments for us. We'll look at it. Maybe we'll tell you. Right now, in the early games, Detroit up 1-0 early. Stars just came back and put one in. They are up 2-1. Boston, Montreal just started the second. They're tied 2-2. Carolina 2-0 over Florida, currently in the second. Jersey up on the Islanders 1-0 in the second. Buffalo 2-1 on Ottawa in the second. Rangers, Caps tied 1-1 in the second. 0-0 Nashville, Minnesota right now. And like we said, the one game that's already gone final, the Leafs in the early game won 6-3 over the Penguins. But we do have a group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 late night games going. So still time to kind of jump in on those with Blackhawks, Flyers, Oilers, Flames, Avalanche, Mammoth, Kraken, Kings, and Golden Knights, Sharks. Still loving this Sharks team. Man, this team is fun to watch. Another guy that we've been kind of sneaking in there with the points is Celebrini. You're able to jump in and you pretty nice plus money on Celebrini at 2+ points in a game. So if you like the matchups with him, that's another guy that Toast has been kind of sliding in there sometimes. If he likes the assist or 2 points for Celebrini, we've been kind of sliding those in there with some bets. So hopefully let's hit some going in to Christmas, get a big one. Hey, hit the plus 11,000. You got Christmas paid for, right? Throw $10
right.
on, you got Christmas completely paid for. You're golden. You probably spent $10 on worse. I guarantee you probably spent $10 on coffee at Starbucks every day. So throw one in there on the plus 11,000. See what we got. Aaron, let's talk about some of the teams. Kind of where we're going. Detroit. They've gone some ups and downs. They're looking good again, finally pulling together. The Blackhawks, we've talked about, man, if you got on them early, betting-wise, you were golden. They were getting plus money at home in a lot of games. We were tearing it up for about a 3-week span on the Blackhawks, throwing them at plus money at home. They are not the same team without Bedard. You just mentioned it earlier. Nazar out as well. It's been amazing, but man, they've had no offense without those guys. Now they're at home against the Flyers. Does it feel like you went from ecstatic as a Hawks fan, like, man, this team's way better than I thought, to like, oh, now we're just holding our breath a little bit? It's like, can we hold on at all until Bedard gets back?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it does have that feeling. It has feeling of hope because again, I think that we exceeded expectations up to this point, and then it does bring you back to reality. Some of the guys that again, we've got some younger. Lashunov is back there. He got seems to go in spurts. I don't quite understand the logic if it's a bad game, a bad play, but he'll get healthy scratched. He's had that, early in the season. A few weeks go by, he gets another one. He was healthy scratched again. So I know it's probably part of the development process, and I get it. I'm not saying, oh, if this guy was playing, we'd be winning. Point of making here is that it's still most of your key lines, including second line, scoring line, are still they're still kind of feeling it out. It's still young guys, and now with the injury bug hitting them, um, the what's his name, Captain. Oh boy, name escapes me. Bald guy. He's got a brother that plays. Wow, I'm totally biffing on his name, but he he hasn't played in like close to a month. Bedsy out, Nazar out. It's like, yeah, it's tough. And where they were really, I think, surprising people was that cycle time, that ozone time, and those numbers have been depleted. Other guys have stepped up, but they're just not at the caliber of that level that they would need to be able to carry a team. Like, Tyler Bertuzzi's, no offense, he's playing great, but he's not going to carry a team. Teuvo Teravainen isn't going to play to that level. Oh, Foligno. Foligno is the guy I was trying to think of, captain of the Hawks. But yeah, I don't want to say deflated because again, I think it was not expected that they played this good. But it like we said before we went live is it feels like it's probably 2 years ago. It's like I'm watching that team again. I'll definitely tune in for the Flyers. I watched that. It was actually a bit of a shootout there against the Senators. Ended up being 6-4. They just couldn't hold on. So some defensive breakdowns, which usually has not occurred lately, but that's exactly what occurred. And then they got smoked by the Sens. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hey, we're still playing with house money though. Is kind of what I feel like on this year so far. I don't anticipate or expect us to make the playoffs, but it's certainly more fun to watch, and there's been more purpose to get behind a Hawks game and pony up the extra money to get whatever streaming they're on now, which sometimes isn't that much fun, but you track them down and you catch a game and they're fun to watch again.
Let's talk about, I hate to pound on it, but let's talk about the disappointment in the East right now. Toronto Maple Leafs. Absolutely. Last place, 37 points. They're just 1 point ahead of Columbus now for dead last in the East. 16, 15, and 5, 37 points overall. Columbus, another one, a little bit of a disappointment after we said, last year, how are they going to rebound after kind of having just a breakout year where everybody seemed like they were playing out of their mind? They're back to reality. They're 15, 15 at 6. They have 36 points. But I think the biggest surprise right now to me, as far as failing, has to be Toronto, and it has to be that Jersey isn't a little better. But I think Hughes, whenever Hughes is out, it feels like they're a team that's a little lost, man. But what are the Maple Leafs? I mean, they've got all kinds of money on this roster, all kinds of talent. How is this team one game above 500?
Yeah, I mean, we go back to the offseason. We kind of talked about this a little bit before. I mean, okay, they lost Mitch Marner, but that can't be just one guy. But Nylander is so inconsistent with he's either really on tonight, so they won tonight, 6-3. They laid 6 goals on the Penguins, who have been playing well this year. Again, you talk about exceeding expectations. The Penguins have played very well. They've kind of cooled off, and goalie struggles, that types of thing. But so Willie Stiles puts in 2 tonight, but then the other nights he's not showing up. He's not there.
Yeah,
I'd
two
amplify
goals, 2 assists for Nylander tonight.
Yeah,
biggest
great game.
performance he's had in forever. I've got him on a ton of fantasy teams. He had not scored in 11 straight games entering this game.
Crazy.
Like, you got to have that more than that production out of Nylander. And even in there, he had a lot of pointless games. Like, he had 2 games where he had 2 assists assists in that 11 game span. And then all the other ones, zeros across the board. You can't have that out of him, especially with the lack of goaltending. They've got to score more points. He's been very frustrating just in a general sense, but in a hockey, in like fantasy sense, he's killing me. We just talked about this earlier, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit when we talk about our actual leagues. But man, he's been one of those guys that has my team on a real low scoring streak here in the last week or two in fantasy. He's been killing me.
Yeah. I mean, good for you. You got a 4-point night, but that does not make up for his lack of showing up. But I'd say more so. And what I really think's going on, I don't know there's rumors all over. Again, you get on Twitter, especially Toronto, a big media team, but Austin Matthews. So this, they hung 6 goals on the Penguins. Not a point. This guy he was not in any of this. No assists, no goal, 3 shots on net. Something's wrong with him. Again, quick look at Twitter. People are saying it's a back injury. Couldn't be worse news. If it is a back, those things linger. If it's a neck, we all know what happened with Eichel and the surgery. I mean, I hope that's not it. Also, too, not because I couldn't care less about the Leafs, but I'm thinking, what's this look like for Team USA? But yeah, I would not. It seems silly and it seems unfair, but I look at the Austin Matthews lack of production. It's like, okay, you lost your 1A center, or you've got a version of your 1A center that's not what you've seen in the recent past history. A guy that's putting up, he's flirting with 70 goals a couple of times in his career, and he's just an empty uniform. He's just getting ice time. 19 minutes on the ice tonight, 3 shots on goal and no points, and they hung 6 on him. So again, I think that tells a story. Not to pick on one game, but this is just, and we talked about the Nylander, Willie Styles with his. I didn't realize it was that long he went without scoring, but when those two guys are this inconsistent, you're not getting what we see out of McDavid, McKinnon, because these two guys are at that level. Maybe maybe a tick below, but they're in the same conversation. We're not seeing anything close to that. So, and then the other thing too, one last thing again to kind of wrap it up the Leafs here, but the Matthias Michelli experiment. I mean, when are we going to call that? I don't think he's your guy. I don't think I know he's all over up and down the lineup, but um, I think that I I don't know. When I watch a Leafs game, I see more out of Dakota Joshua. Like I'd see him replacing him, and sometimes he does, but maybe even Nick Robertson. But yeah, Michelli is just unimpressive. He might have gotten on the board tonight. Yeah, it looks like he did. Oh, he did get a goal, but too little, too late. He didn't really make a splash in Arizona/Utah. This is his second. I think he was overbilled as somebody that was just going to fill a gap. He's not doing it. So, yeah, tough time in Toronto. Oh, and I did read last thing. I lied. I guess this is actual last thing, which I was shocked at. But I also read an article that attendance is down. Those guys sell out no matter what. So I don't know what's going on up there. But tough time to be a Maple Leafs fan. That's for sure.
The one thing we didn't really get to jump into last week, I felt like we kind of missed on that. We should talk about it just a little bit. The Oilers, finally look like they're starting to get together a little bit after a rough start. They trade for Jari at goalie, Tristan Jari from the Penguins, and he immediately gets hurt. Yeah. Where are we at here with this trade? I feel like I don't know what you thought about the trade. I felt like it was one of those like we're just trying to do something, anything to try to jolt us and get the goaltending going because it hasn't been bad, which you said tonight. I'm taking the over in that game, which I love. I feel like I'm on the over on every Edmonton game here lately.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of an interesting move. Immediately go out and get him, and then he turns around and gets hurt right away. I'm not sure exactly how many. I was trying to look and see if they said exactly how long he's going to be out, but it is a little bit here. So, man. And every time they try to do something to fix their goalie situation, it just doesn't seem to work out.
No, I think they got Connor Ingram out there. I mean, that dude's, what is he, 100 years old? He's out there. I don't know how well or how poorly he's playing. Again, like you said, they're getting wins. They're getting these 6-4 wins, these 5-3 wins, but they're they're not doing it defensively. It's just they're outscoring their opponent because they're so high octane. So yeah, the move overall, typical Stan Bowman, you trade 6 of something for half a dozen of another is to be honest with how I feel about it. But that said, I can't be overcritical. I would say that he had to do something. Just Stuart Skinner wasn't going to do it, and I know he's a popular guy or seems to be a popular guy. I watch a ton of Edmonton games. When Edmonton played Pittsburgh, Leo and McDavid went over to Stuart Skinner, so you could tell there's a bond there. Whatever, but hey, it's enough's enough. He's just not the guy that's going to do it. So. Not a fan of Stan Bowman, but this move again, you got to do something, and maybe this was the only thing you could find out there. And that's the other thing too. These guys have gone to the finals the last 2 years. What team out there, especially on the West, in the West, that's the one piece that's missing from that team. I'm not going to give you.
Nobody
wants
wants. You don't want to give that guy up.
No,
you don't want to be the
No.
team that turns around and gives the goalie that Edmonton needs to
Yeah.
to win it. Like,
Get outta
you
here.
don't want to do that. So yeah, they are kind of like stuck, just trying to, like I said, throw something at the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get into some listener league and fantasy recap here.
It's Weekend Update with Colin Jost and Michael Che.
So in our Fantasy and Frames Around the Ice Listeners League, me and you took each other on last week. I got a big victory. My team finally showed up on Sunday, went down to the wire, and me with, of course, all my Red Wings players ended up barely getting me the win over you, as I had a million guys going. I'm sure you looked at it, was like, how does he have this many guys going on Sunday? But I had like the entire Red Wings roster on my lineup. I was like, I just need a high scoring game. I need to do something here. So if we look going back right now, currently quite a matchup here in the Listeners League. Things been really good. I knocked off Toast 2 weeks ago, then knocked off you. So right now, I'm the host that's winning, even though I'm not in first place. I will take that as a little side gig for me. But Robert Riccio, Kingmaker, he's 9-2, tied with Toast, and hostless Jeffson Malort at 9-2 at top of the league. Jeff Dealer, with a work in progress, is 8-3. I improved to 7-4 with the win. Right behind me is Scott DeWitt with Sinbox Banger, 6-5, and Aaron, you're right there with Titch Top Hattie, 6-5 as well. And then Pucky Puckersons, he's 6-5. Couple more teams at 5-6. Jorge, who had got off to a slow start, went on a tear for a couple weeks. He's lost 2 in a row. He's there at 4-7. But we've got a lot of people kind of all together. So it's been a very competitive league so far this year. So I'll take it that I got those wins. It's the one thing I can stand on right now. Jorge jumps in. He says, yep, 2 in a row. No good. Yeah. That's all right, Jorge. You're going to turn it back around here. He's going to get hot again. It's hockey. Ups and downs. You got to just stick with it. No big moves for anybody in the league, but that's currently where we are sitting at there. Let's get into, we talked a little bit about with Nylander, but let's get into talking about some of these fantasy hockey players and what we're looking over the next week.
But hey, as they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
So fantasy-wise, Aaron, what are you looking at? Anybody that's hot on your radar, or guys you want to be looking at saying, hey, here's a possible guy that you might not seen was up there or out there. That's a possible waiver wire pickup here. Like you said, a little bit different fantasy schedule this week because of the holidays, and They do take off 3 days straight there. So it does change things up just a little bit. If you are in a league where you have max plays for the week, look at that. I totally Toast sent me out in one of our leagues. He's like, oh, we got to make sure you only get 40 plays this week because of the holidays. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize. So you don't want to go over plays. So make sure if you're in a max plays or a category league where that matters, you don't want to get a 0. That always is a kick in the nuts. So make sure you're checking that out. But Aaron, who do you like? Anybody you're looking at as a possible pickup here, or anybody that's on your radar that's been really stepping it up lately here in fantasy?
Yeah. And that what you just said is the logic behind these 2 names. I just got 2 guys. With the weird schedule around the holidays and the time off the player gets, which is a good thing, the players get, I'm going to keep it simple because I think the sound strategy, and this is how you beat me, or one of the reasons, many reasons you beat me, beat Toast. Those Friday, Sunday matchups are key. All the teams play on Saturdays, but if you can find a team, or you look at that free agent wire, and these are two guys that are most leagues. These guys are available. I'll get to them in a second, but back to the whole Friday Sunday thing, you've got enough guys that play on a regular NHL week. Those Sunday games are pretty rare. There's, usually maybe, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 games if you're lucky. And that's what you had them on Friday, you had them on the wings, and you did it. I had a pretty good lead on you on Saturday, and then it just whittled away on Sunday. So normally that's what we tell our listeners to go to, is look at the Friday matchups, look at the Sunday matchups. Toast has a whole logic behind it. And I see the comment here from Jorge.
Yeah, Jorge, you can tell he's been using AI because he said, "How should
Yeah,
I approach
yes.
waivers?" Instead, how should AI approach waivers?
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been typing that in the computer. AI is taking over your computer, Jorge. Yeah, that is this is a good thing that Aaron you're bringing up. I've had this, and sometimes it's harder to do it in dynasty leagues. It's a little easier to do it in redraft leagues. Finding those guys that do play the off nights to get you, especially if you're in a league that doesn't have like a max games played, or if the max games played is really high and you almost never hit it. That's a big difference, because you can get in there where, like you said, if I can get that Friday Sunday matchup where I'm like, guys are playing, 3 or 4 games, but I get those extra plays, it does make a difference. I remember having, I think it was last year before, in one of our leagues, I should have been way better, but my point total wasn't up there because I had everyone playing the major dates. I had no off days. Every one of my guys were like playing a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I had 3 or 4 guys on the bench on those days because I was loaded, and I had no one on the other ones. And at some point I was like, man, I should have made a trade. I should have figured out who's playing some of those more off date games and maybe made a trade. Even if I got a player that was not as good in return, I would have gotten more points because I actually would have been able to play that guy. So I do think that's a great trend that you bring up here. And to tell you the truth, there's a lot of weeks it doesn't go down to Sunday. Almost all of our matchups in our home league and the listeners league, a ton of them came down to Sunday this week. If you were in there watching football like I was, because I'm in the playoffs in a million leagues, trying to keep paying attention. So I had an eye on hockey, but not as close as I usually do because it was semifinals. I went back and looked. I was like, oh, there's a ton of close matchups today. And the guys that had a bunch of Sunday players ended up usually squeaking it out.
Yeah. No, I'm completely sold on that, especially like, again, you look at your injuries, probably everybody, no matter the format of your league, you probably got some empty spots, roster spots on your league right now, because you got those IR spots filled. So you've got some flexibility, and with those quote unquote flex spots, I like to rotate players out of there. So again, my as far as logic or game theory, I go to that Friday Sunday matchup first. I just you can filter it in. You can see who plays on Friday, who plays on Sunday. You can listen to our pod because we'll call those guys out again. Not this week because we have the weird week, but we'll try to surface those guys and just be like, hey, look at these teams. Or even if you don't like the guys we're talking about, look at the teams. Maybe there's a guy on the 3rd or 4th line that's available. Should have a roster room, or even if you got a low performing guy, just get rid of him and kind of take this and week to week, just do something along those lines. Those starts count. So in terms of theory, the more starts you get, the more opportunity, the more ice you're seeing per week, better chance you got of putting up some numbers, especially to watch what I did this past Sunday and watch my lead dwindle and then ultimately lose. There's nothing worse than a worse helpless feeling than there's absolutely nothing you can do. But 2 guys real quick that I want to shout out. We talked about the Quinn Hughes trade. He's lighting it up. Minnesota's a must-watch game now. But Ryan Hartman is available in 89% of the leagues. I know it's a name that's been around for a while. He's 31, 32. But he is playing with Kaprizov, and Hughes is getting those 85-foot passes to his tape. So this dude's lighting it up. He's out there in almost every league. Go ahead and pick him up and have fun watching the Wild because they're really putting on a clinic. right now. Them, Dallas, Colorado. Geez, that's just all in the same division too. It's amazing. The other guys is your boy in Detroit, John Gibson. He looked horrible. Again, I'll use
Horrible for a
yeah,
while. Horrible.
if you or me took the net, we would have been as bad as John Gibbs. That's how bad he was. He was terrible and horrible November. Then he comes on. He's won 7 in a row. Detroit's looking mean. They look tough. They got Mo Sider back there just clearing bodies and pucks out of the way. You got a top-notch defense, and the John Gibson we're seeing now is peak John Gibson, in my opinion, especially pulling off 7 in a row. So John Gibson's out there in every single league. Ryan Hartman's out there in virtually every single league. Jump on these two guys and enjoy your Christmas, because you've got a couple of good free agent pickups if you get one of these two, or both maybe.
Yeah, I love that. I've got Talbot, Cam Talbot in a bunch of leagues because he was the one kind of holding the wings together. But if you're like me and you're holding Talbot, go get Gibson instead, because now it is becoming the Gibson show. He's definitely the man. After a really bad start, Talbot was kind of the guy that was doing it for them. Now they're back into maybe like a 3-1 start rotation here. It's definitely going back, swinging back Gibson's way. So if you were one of the, like me, who was like, oh my God, Gibson's terrible this year, he's pulling it together. So don't look at that first month of the season or so there. Look at what he's done the last 5, 6, 7 games. He's starting to turn it up a little more. So if he's out there and you're looking for a goalie, if you got goalie injuries or having problems getting some starts, he's the guy you could pick up and put in there. Like I said, I've loved Spencer Knight this year. I've got him in a ton of leagues. I'm keeping him, but with who's in front of him right now, he is getting worked over a lot because they're not pushing the puck on offense as much. So he's seeing a lot more shots, making it tougher for him to get wins here of late. So if you're looking at, especially if you're in a league that is more win heavy as opposed to save heavy for point total, you might want to start maybe taking a look at Gibson, someone like that. Like I said, I love Knight. He has been a machine this year, but we've seen it. The losses are coming for him and the Blackhawks here for a while. So if you take a lot of negative points in leagues for losses, this is where I'm starting to consider certain nights maybe I'm benching Spencer Knight, even though I love what he's doing. The team around him is not playing as well. So always got to consider those types of things when you're looking at your fantasy scoring, as far as like save percentage. Big difference if you're in a categories league and you're getting saves and you're getting save percentage. Knight is probably still coming through for you because he's seen a ton of shots. He's getting a ton of saves. So on that side of things, you're probably better off there, but just keep an eye on that. But I do love the Hartman ad. He's just a guy, you know his name, you see it out there. It's not a sexy name, but he has been playing better and he's on a good line, which is, crap. I just want to be on a line where I can touch the puck and get a point. So, that helps there. So, Aaron, any final thoughts for you tonight as we kind of shut things down and we, obviously hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. We will be back next week. I'm pretty sure, don't hold me, I'm pretty sure we got to look at the schedule with New Year's. Whenever you have all these holidays right in the middle of the week, kind of throws things off sometimes. But that's our plan. Any last thoughts for you as we finish out this week?
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Hope everybody enjoys their time with the family. Players enjoy the time off. It's certainly been a very, very entertaining year up to this point. We got the rest of the season to look forward to. Detroit's back. Dallas looks good. The Wild, Colorado, and it's an Olympic year. So really, really just top-notch game and product from the NHL this year. 25-26 is looking to be an all-timer. So love it. And Detroit just tied it up. So 2-2 there. Detroit and the Stars. Nice. So we'll have to have that. It is.
If you get a chance, the game's on TV, jump in. You don't have to have all these other crazy networks to get it. Jump in and watch that game right now. We usually don't get to do this because we're usually not on until 8:30 Eastern or 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. We are getting some early games in. So I am going to recap bets real quick for those people. You got about 15 minutes to get some of these bets in because we did go on early tonight. Aaron gave you his parlay of the night was Calgary, Edmonton over 6.5 goals, San Jose, Vegas over 6.5 goals, and Colorado minus 1.5 on the puck line plus 690. I love that. His player point prop Natchez a point, Connecting a point, Nugent Hopkins a point, Toffoli a point. That was plus 547. I threw on Draisaitl for a little extra on up to plus 6. Those in, and then the long shot score. Aaron just put it in the machine, let it roll, and tell him who to take. You're taking a chance on this one. Donato, was it Pascalzin? I always say his name.
Podkolzin. Yeah.
Podkolzin, and then Graf plus 11,492 for long shot parlay of each of those guys. Get one tonight. And then my one that I've been on lately, you can get in the plus 200 range. I think it's plus 216 tonight. I'm on 2 points from Nathan McKinnon and 2 points for Connor McDavid. I think I got that at plus 216 for 2 points for each of those guys. So thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Early edition this week as Fantasy and Frames crew. We had to jump it up a night with Christmas Eve tomorrow night from our normal Wednesday schedule, but we'll be back in the new year of that. If you are still in your fantasy football championships, trying to get a Title I and you are an IDP league, stick with us here shortly. Me and Jorge will be coming up with Shoot the Gap on next, and we'll kind of hopefully talk in and give you some good guys to play that hopefully brings home a title for Aaron. I'm JT. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and I hope everybody has a good new year. And I'm pumped. Hockey has been great this year. If you haven't been watching, you're missing out. Jump in. It's never too late to start watching some hockey. We'll check you guys later. Thanks a lot.